Good afternoon and welcome to the live watch-along of the 2025 Championship Playoff Final from Wembley here on LFS. I'm Caoimhan Ferris, your commentator and presenter for today. And 288 days ago, the journey started, and the pinnacle of that journey is today. A day where lives can change and the future of football clubs are written in stone. Regarded as the richest game in football, hailing football's richest prize, a place in the Premier League awaits. Seen as the best way to go up, but also the very worst way to lose. Today, Sheffield United are looking to return to the top flight at the first time of asking after being relegated last campaign, of course, in 20th place. Sunderland, who've been out of the top flight for 8 years and even spent 4 years in the third division in League One. A key point to mention, before we build up to the game itself, you may notice at the very top of your screen the kickoff time along with the two team names is there. It's important to remind you that the game will kick off at 1 minute past 3 today. That is in support of the Every Minute Matters campaign, a partnership between the British Heart Foundation and Sky Bet, targeted with persuading people to learn CPR, which can of course save many lives. And we here at LFS fully support and respect the campaign and the great work it has and will do in the future. So it is ready and waiting. As I said, it is a 1 minute past 3 kickoff. It is now 47 minutes past 2, so we have about just short of 15 minutes. We're going to build up to the game because that's what we have to do this afternoon. We'll talk about these two sides, how they got to Wembley, how they got here to this moment. We'll also talk about their records in playoff seasons and their promotion seasons, as well as looking at the game itself between the two sides who have their fair shares of history between them. We're going to start off this afternoon talking about their trips and their road to the final. And let's start with the two sides. As you can see there, that's the playoffs bracket, but if you can see alongside each team there is their finishing place and their points for each for the season for all four teams that were in the playoffs this year, and the score, the big number beside each team's logo, is the aggregate score across the two legs of the semi-finals. Just to give you a bit of clarity on the graphic you're currently looking at, by the way. But the route to the playoff final is not always easy, and both of these clubs know it well. With Sheffield United, it was a great season, racking up 90 points over 46 games, missing out on the top two cruelly, of course, Leeds and Burnley getting 100 points between them. Or 100 points each, shall I say. The only two sides to have ever done that in Championship history. And that means that Sheffield United are only the third side to reach 90 or more points and not be automatically promoted in the Championship's history. And Leeds did it last season. Leeds got 90 points, of course, finished in the playoff places and were put out in the playoff final by Southampton. But for Sunderland, it was 76 points and fourth place for them. That was secure for the vast majority of the season. The 14-point gap between the two sides is the largest point difference between playoff finalists since the format was introduced in 1988-89, between Sheffield United in third and Sunderland in fourth. Of course, Coventry in fifth on 69 points and sixth place Bristol City on 68. So it was a very tight affair in that front, but it was pretty easy in the end, certainly for Sheffield United. They cruised through their playoff semi-final against Bristol City, who looked promising. Bristol City, with that red card and penalty at the end of the first half of the first leg of that semi-final, surely was to be the curtain being drawn upon their playoffs. Sheffield United won 3-0 in both legs at Ashton Gate, of course, and then at Bramall Lane in the return leg. So easy work in the end for Chris Wilder's side to get to the playoff final. For Sunderland, it was slightly more difficult, but arguably more exhilarating in a sense. A hard-fought away win in their first leg of the semi-final against Coventry set them up for a great chance, but it was a goal at the death from Dan Ballard in extra time of the second leg at the Stadium of Light that narrowly saw the Black Cats to Wembley. What an evening that was, of course, for Sunderland. Daniel Ballard, the Northern Irishman, getting that incredibly late goal in extra just before it would have been penalties between the two sides, and it would have been a real corker, but an extra time winner is somewhat sweeter in a sense. But today, both sides will know the pressure is on and the job is right in front of them. But because the real work really starts now, because to claim that trophy and a place in the Premier League next season would be massive for both clubs. And they'll know that the hard work is the next 90 minutes, possibly 120 minutes, maybe even penalties to decide who will be getting that space in next season's Premier League. Let's have a look and see how they've fared previously in the playoffs, these two sides. We'll look at that in a moment. The second tier playoffs, certainly not good for either team. As you can see there with Sheffield United, neither of these two can call upon major success in the history of the previous playoff campaigns. Sheffield United have never won any of their three previous playoff finals and were beaten in the semi-finals twice, including against Sunderland back in 1997-98 season. And as you can see there, Burnley, Wolves and Crystal Palace, the three sides that beat Sheffield United in previous playoff finals. Of course, Nottingham Forest beat them in the semi-finals just a few years ago as well. And then that one against Sunderland in the semi-final. Sunderland went on to the final that year, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But look at that record for Sheffield United. They've lost all of the last five. Now, of course, disregarding this season, obviously, because they progressed from their semi-final this season, obviously, but in previous seasons, it's certainly not a good record to hold back upon, and that torrid record is evident throughout each playoff campaign for Sheffield United. They have never been promoted via the playoffs in their history, in the playoffs as it currently sits. But they've never, at any level, been promoted via the playoffs in the club's history. It's mental how crazy that record is. For Sunderland, it's not much better. If better at all. For Sunderland, that win over Sheffield United back in 97-98 was their only win in the playoffs in the second tier before this season. That final they progressed to was a classic, with the game ending 4-4 after extra time, and Charlton went on emerging victorious 7-6 on penalties. Of course, as you can see there, they will also be in the semi-finals. Of course, Crystal Palace and Luton, of course, very recently and a number of seasons ago. Actually, that was their first season back in the Championship, and they lost the playoff semi-final to Luton on that day. As the players are coming out to the field of play, with their managers leading them. We'll get to the team news very, very shortly. That's still a couple of minutes away before kick-off. But for Sheffield United, as I said, for Sunderland, sorry, today will be Sunderland's first second-tier playoff final since then having only reached the semi-final stage in their previous 2 trips to the second-tier playoffs. Overall, that record doesn't read much better than Sheffield United, either having won just once in 8 attempts in the playoffs, which was the 21-22 League One playoff final against Wycombe, of course. In terms of their promotion seasons, well, both sides have been promoted 4 times since 1999, with Sheffield United being promoted to the top flight 3 times. However, on all of those occasions, they finished in second place and were automatically promoted. The only other promotion came in 2016-17 when they were promoted as League One title winners up to the Championship. Alongside that, they have never spent more than 2 seasons in a division when they have been promoted since 1999, which doesn't bode well for the future if they're promoted. But the most recent, of course, came when they were promoted back to the Premier League in 22-23 and were relegated the season after. For Sunderland, well, 3 of their 4 promotions since 1999 have been as title winners of the Championship or the old Division 1. Their most recent promotion to the top flight came in 2006-7, in which they went on to spend 10 seasons in the Premier League thereafter. The other promotion and their most recent overall came in 21-22 when they won the League One playoffs after finishing 5th in that season. They've been in the Championship since and would love a 3rd promotion to the top flight this century and follow in the footsteps of the last side to be promoted to the top flight with the Black Cats, in making it a lasting impact. Of course, spending 10 seasons. How Sunderland would love that to be the case again. And we'll see if they can do that today. Remember, the game kicks off at 1 minute past 3, so we're just around 5 to 3, so a couple of minutes to go. Quickly give you some stats on the game. Sheffield United have won 3 of their last 4 meetings between the sides, losing 1. That was the most recent one, Sunderland winning that 2-1. Eliza Mayenda and Wilson Isidore scoring either side of a Luke O'Nien own goal. The last Sunderland win against Sheffield United away from the Stadium of Light was in the EFL Cup 3rd round in September 2019 when they won 1-0 at Bramall Lane. And as I said earlier, Sheffield United finished 14 points ahead of Sunderland in the regular season, the biggest points difference between 2 Football League playoff finalists since the format was created back in 1988-89. Right, we are all but ready to go. The national anthem of England is being sung by someone, at Wembley Stadium, and we will have kick-off in the 2025 Championship playoff final between Sheffield United and Sunderland. We'll have team news when we come back. Welcome back to the 2025 Championship Playoff Final from Wembley between Sheffield United and Sunderland. And the players on the field ready and waiting for what will be a huge moment for both sets of players. Let's get you the team news for both sides, starting with the Blades, Sheffield United. They start with Michael Cooper in goal. A back four of Hamza Chowdhury, Anil Ahmedhodzic, Jack Robinson the captain, and Harrison Burrows in defence. In midfield, City Peck alongside Vinicius Souza. Gus Harmer, the Championship Player of the Season, is on the left side of a midfield four, with Ryan Brewster on the right-hand side, and a front two of Kiefer Moore and Tyrese Campbell. On the bench for Chris Wilder's team, Davies, Siriki McCallum, Holding, Brooks O'Hare, Davies, Brereton Diaz, and Cannon. For Sunderland, their dream of a return to the top flight is alive and well, and they're hoping they can be the side to do it. Here are their team this afternoon. Anthony Patterson starts in goal. A back four of Trey Hume, Daniel Ballard, Luke O'Nien and Dennis Serkin are in defence. In midfield is Dan Neal, the captain, alongside Job Bellingham, with Chris Rigg and Enzo Lefebvre at the wide players in that midfield four, with a front two of Eliza Mayenda and Romain Mundal starting alongside him. On the bench for Sunderland is Moore, Mepham Hjelde, Samad, Jones, Roberts, Brown, Isidore and Watson. A place in the Premier League awaits. Who will get it? Will it be Sheffield United or will it be Sunderland? Kickoff is next. A very good afternoon. Welcome to you joining us here this afternoon. Wembley Stadium is the venue. Wembley Stadium is the stage for two sets of football teams. Two football teams looking for a place in the Premier League next season. Sheffield United and Sunderland are the two sides, as the message on the screen about the Every Minute Matters campaign. Of course, the game kicking off at 1 minute past 3 o'clock. In all of the EFL playoff finals, League 1, League 2 and the Championship, in support of that Every Minute Matters campaign, in teaching and learning people to produce and perform CPR, of course, life-saving CPR, which we know, I'm sure some of us and all of us will know someone or related to us or know someone who has had to receive CPR at one point in their lives, and how important it can be just to learn that little process can save a life incredibly. And that is what we're supporting, and we're also joining in supporting that. Over 300,000 have already signed up to be involved after it was launched last season. So it's great that it's continuing doing the great work and will continue to do in the future. To the football now, and these two teams ready and waiting for kickoff. Sheffield United in their home strip of red shirts, white shorts, and Sunderland in their away strip this afternoon of all white with navy and green trimmings this afternoon. For this one, look at the crowd inside Wembley. Very rarely and very few games would better it in its attendance in the world, at any sport, at any level. That is what makes this such a spectacle and one to be enjoyed. These two sides know the pressure, know what it means, know what it would mean if they were to win here today, as we get underway in the 2025 Championship Playoff Final. Both sides desperate for a place in the Premier League. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. We thank you all for joining us this afternoon for this one. It is set to be a cracking game. I'm really looking forward to this one. These two sides very positive in their play, and both very competitive. And Sunderland almost causing their own problems there early. Anthony Patterson had to get rid, but he was under severe pressure by Tyrese Campbell so early, and he almost crumbled. He got away with it, but not by very much. Welcome in everybody joining us in the chat. Wingnut says, let's go. Nathan says, my cousin plays for Sheffield United. Sai, come on. Sheffield United. Great to have you with us, everybody, for this one, as that's not the best of clearances from Trey Hume, and the ball fizzed into the box, and the header is a great save from Patterson. Fantastic save. Called into action twice in the first minute. Sunderland haven't started well at all, and it was Caoimhan Ferris with a header. Again, it all started with that poor clearance by Trey Hume down that right side, and it was picked up down the left by Gus Hammer. Fizzed it into the box, and awaiting was Caoimhan Ferris diving onto it, and a great save. Clawed it with his right hand at Anthony Patterson, or his left hand, sorry, away from goal. Otherwise, that would have been 1-0 Sheffield United. What a save. What a start for Sheffield United, and Sunderland have really started on the back foot, and they could have been 1-0 down. And there is a player down, Luke O'Nien, who has had to receive a bit of treatment, so there is a stoppage in play at the moment. But massive, so early in a game to have such a big save to make. Great ball in, very good header. Made it hard as possible, did Caoimhan Ferris for Anthony Patterson. But the keeper did so well, getting down to his left and then clawing it away so spectacularly. Again, it's not great defending by Sunderland. There was two players around Caoimhan Ferris, but neither of them anywhere near dealing with the ball. It was Dennis Serkin and Luke O'Nien, who is down, and wasn't great defending at all from Sunderland, but great save from Anthony Patterson. And Luke O'Nien a little bit uncomfortable there as he's slowly helped back to his feet. He's on his knees at the moment, just trying to get back to his feet. Whatever the issue is, you certainly don't want to end your afternoon this early. I'm sure Luke O'Nien will fight on, but just have to make sure he's okay first. Mesalive says, what's the capacity in Wembley? I think it can be 80,000. Is it 90,000? I'm not too sure. We'll get the attendance a little later. They announced the attendance throughout the game. At Wembley Stadium can hold 90,000 capacity. It's around about 80-odd thousand usually for the Championship playoff final. Because, no doubt about it, it might be the second tier in English football, but there's probably some teams in the second tier of English football that probably have bigger fan bases than some of the teams in the first division. And Sunderland would be one of those with one of the biggest fan bases in English football up in the northeast. And there's no doubt there's certainly enough fans of many's a second tier side able to fill out Wembley. It's not looking good here for Luke O'Nien. They've brought the stretcher on. So Regis Lebris has to look at his bench, does the Sunderland manager. And this is not a good sign for Luke O'Nien. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but it did. And that's a worry it will be for those Sunderland fans watching on. No, someone getting themselves ready on the bench there for Sunderland. I'm trying to see who it is, but it's not the start you would want, having to make a change so early, and such an important player in Luke O'Nien for Sunderland in that back four. And that will be a real upset to lose him. He's still on his haunches, on his knees, kind of. Not able to move. He hasn't moved for the last minute and a half, maybe nearly 2 minutes now. Luke O'Nien. He's in a really bad way. Oh, as he stands up, he is in aching pain. He is standing up, which is very good to see and applauded by the Sunderland fans, but that is not what you want to see so early in such a huge game. He's in real pain, wincing, barely able to walk. It's Luke O'Nien, and we hope he's okay, and we wish him all the very best in his full recovery. And I'm sure he'll be watching on, supporting his side in trying to get to the Premier League, which is certainly not a start those Sunderland fans would have wanted for their team. To lose a player of such importance so early. But Sunderland are going to have to make that early change. And the player that's going to be replacing Luke O'Nien is going to be Chris Mepham. Very experienced player. The Welshman. He's going to be coming on. Has some Premier League experience, of course, with Bournemouth. And actually, funnily enough, all of the Sunderland starting 11 today actually have never had any Premier League experience. So that will be a welcome experience to be added to the team. Not just yet though. Down to 10 for the moment are Sunderland, which is something they'll have to deal with here because Sheffield United are entering the box. Ball delivered in. Cleared away. Not very far as City Peck picks it up. Brewster, Peck, Chowdhury has to spin it back to Ahmed Odzic, and now Robinson. Well, they're still down to 10 here, Sunderland, for the moment, as the ball played down the left from Harmer. Flick back into the box, and the header is clear. Not very far as Harmer has a shot blocked, and hooked away eventually by Mundell. Sunderland down to 10 at the moment, and under immense pressure from Sheffield United after the restart. Peck. Chowdhury. Brewster tries the ball over the top. The run in behind from Campbell. The flag stays down. Tyrese Campbell almost squeezing it through to Gus Harmer, who does enough to keep it in play. Here is... he doesn't actually. Does Gus Harmer, and went out of play there on the far side. It looked like it was... yeah, he was offside there, Tyrese Campbell. Good distance offside there from the assistant, which I think he flags thereafter. So the ball stayed in play, but it was pulled back for an offside against Tyrese Campbell. Which that stoppage will allow Chris Mepham to come on to replace Luke O'Nien. So both teams back to 11v11. Still wincing his way around to get off the sidelines there is Luke O'Nien. He's in real pain. He's having to get like kind of gas and gas and air kind of. It's not looking good for him, really not. The good thing is he's conscious and he's able to walk, which is the two most important things. Certainly indeed. Great to have you all with us this afternoon. Benon, Jay says this is bad news for him and the team. It is indeed. You don't want to see anybody get injured, especially so early in a game of football. In any game, but especially probably one of the biggest games of Sunderland's recent history, and certainly their biggest of the season. Such an important player as well. Jonas says my cousin plays for Sunderland. Gary says, you doing Club World Cup coverage? We are. Of course, we'll not be doing the 2 a.m. games UK time, and not be doing those, but we will have a select few. We'll let you know more about that in the next coming days and weeks here. We will have a busy summer, the Club World Cup, and we'll also keep an eye on the women's Euros, as well as, of course, the transfer window, which we will have, as announced earlier this week. The LFS transfer show will be every Friday this summer, and we will have that for you. So looking forward to the summer. We still got 3 big days of action to come. Today, tomorrow, and next Saturday. Some massive implications. Harmer brings the ball down, nicely intercepted by Hume. And a tussle in the midfield, and sliding in there was Chris Rigg, and I think the foul's been given against Rigg. There's going to be a Sheffield United free kick here by Craig Pawson, given by the referee. Or actually, Chris Kavanagh is the referee today. Certainly saw Craig Pawson somewhere. Chris Kavanagh is the referee. A good start for the Blades. Nice flick on by Moore, and Campbell made the run in behind, but Ballard got it covered and cleared it away. And the bouncing ball from Dan Ballard, the hero in the semi-final. Harrison Burrows will take this throw in for Sheffield United. Do you do England qualifiers? I'll have to check because we are doing international. We're doing the Nations League, but I'm not too sure about other internationals. But I'm sure we'll be able to fit something in, surely. The World Cup qualifiers, I'm sure we will find a slot. But if it's wanted, if people want to see it, we'll do it. That's the motto. Here's City Pack. Of course, within reason, obviously. We're not going to do under 18s 3rd division. But you never know. I got to say, some of the top flight games that I've done are probably less entertaining than the 3rd division of the under 18s. Rigg trying to reverse the ball forward, but again, nicely intercepted by Sheffield United. And Harrison Burrows pushing up a little bit further up that left-hand side. Just squeezing the pitch a little bit more. Of course, we don't expect either side to be slow in their play today. I was done, obviously, research before the game, and there was something I actually looked at for both sides. I'm trying to find where it is on my stats page here, but it's here somewhere. Something about the build-up of both teams, and it's actually really intriguing. How both teams have such quick build-up play. That's it. Sunderland are ranked in top 4 of the Championship teams for touches in the opposition box this season. The exact same as Sheffield United in the normal season. Same as Sheffield United, despite being ranked 12th for average possession in the Championship. So they certainly get forward and get more touches in the opposition box, despite having not dominating possession as often. So which means they're quicker on the counter-attacks. And they're being more direct with their attacks, which is much more entertaining if you want a good game. And both sides certainly fit that bill. Get good touches in the opponent's box and attack quickly with less possession. As there was a foul there, Hamza Chowdhury chasing the ball down. Chased the man to the ground, and Dennis Serkin. It's a free kick to Sunderland. Will you be doing Ireland World Cup qualifiers? I'll have to check, but we need to see what the schedule is at the start of June, because the Club World Cup starts on the 15th of June. It does, but we're planning after the Champions League final maybe to have a little bit of a week break, maybe somewhere in between. But we'll certainly let you know what's going on with the World Cup qualifiers in the next few weeks. But I would suspect we will be doing something around that. I do believe. Bit of head tennis at the moment. Mepham with a half clearance. It was Moore trying to cause a problem, and certainly better aerially as Peck tries to deliver. Blocked and out to Brewster. Brewster tries the early cross. Oh, a little bit of a wobbly bit of defending there. Here's Tyrese Campbell. Wanted to shoot, but again blocked. Sunderland on the ropes again here. Gotta say, Sunderland are just having to get back in their rhythm. They've just been really upset with that early stoppage, that real break up in their kind of rhythm at the start of the game, and they didn't start well either. Of course, Anthony Patterson almost giving away a goal in the first minute of the game, but they've certainly been wobbled in these early moments, and Sheffield United trying to take advantage of that. Need to get the ball down and get a bit of possession, Sunderland, at the moment. Fun Monday in Liverpool if you love LFC. Indeed it would be. The Liverpool Trophy Parade will be doing the games tomorrow, so we will have the Premier League final day tomorrow. Kickoff's at 4 o'clock. Our game will be Nottingham Forest Chelsea, but we'll keep an eye on Liverpool against Crystal Palace and all the other games. But then we'll leave you before the trophy lift, and then we'll have reaction and stuff like that to the trophy parade and all that type of stuff on Monday as well for you. Bruce says, will you be doing Israel World Cup qualifiers? What a random question. If they're in the World Cup qualifiers, then probably, because if they're all at the same time. But I wouldn't guarantee that Israel will be top of the bill, mainly because I think more quality teams will be at the highest rank. I don't know whether you're trying to make a political point there, but yeah. Either way, politically, it doesn't really matter. It won't be. Israel aren't one of the top countries in the world, but I'm sure if they're in World Cup qualifiers, we'll certainly cover the games in some capacity. Here is Chris Rigg, who didn't start the playoffs semi-final first leg. Chris Rigg, of course, Patrick Roberts started that game away at Coventry. Watch that, and Roberts really struggled down that right-hand side to get forward as much as he could, and Sunderland actually struggled to get forward at any of that point of the game. Here's a chance down the left side for Mayenda, and he's won an early corner. That's a good start. It's good work down that left-hand side by Sunderland. The rare foray forward for them in the first 16-17 minutes here. Nice work from the right side, worked back across to the left, and it was Mundell, down that right side. Romain Mundell tried to find the ball to Mayenda, and it was blocked and put it behind for the corner. So a first set piece for Sunderland. Chance to try and take an early lead from this set piece. That's how they got here. Last minute header from Dan Ballard from a corner. Right footed delivery from post and caught by Michael Cooper. And now they want to spring away to Sheffield United. It's Campbell and it's Hammer in motion. Look at the bodies flooding back for Sunderland. And almost as quick as it started, that Sheffield United's counter-attack comes crashing to an end. It's Hammer, well closed down, but not kept in play by Chris Rigg. It was good pressing. The first touch let him down when he got the ball. Jonas says, do you think Northern Ireland could qualify for the World Cup? I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, I think they've more chances than the Republic, I think, because the Republic, I think, have a tougher group than Northern Ireland. But again, Northern Ireland's group isn't easy either. But I think overall, Northern Ireland could stake a claim in the second place of their group, and whereas I think Republic might struggle a little bit more with the likes of Hungary and things like that. But again, with the way the World Cup qualifiers go, you never really know. We've seen bizarre teams that probably shouldn't be in the World Cup be there before, but that's on merit. So it would be good for the country. It would be good for the national team. I'm seeing the improvements of some of the Northern Ireland squad. I mean, some of them on action today. Trey Hume, Dan Ballard, amongst them in the Sunderland side today. It's two very good players, and it looks like, I'd say, Northern Ireland have as much chance as anybody, really, to get through. Be nice to see. Here comes Sunderland down the left-hand side with Mundell. Trying to squeeze it through the lines, but run into Sheffield United shirts. Helped out by Sirkin, but Sirkin's ball down the left channel towards Mepham was out of play. Liam says, which team has the better looking players for you, in your opinion? Well, Sheffield United are the favourites, certainly, because of their Premier League experience and, forget about the playoffs record, but their record of just being promoted to the Premier League is so good, and their promotion record is so good overall. But I think their quality of the team as a whole and as a team, as a collective, I think would be higher than Sunderland's. But then again, this has probably been a season, in a sense, certainly in one-off games, where the underdog or the side that weren't pipped as the favourites have won. We saw Tottenham, who were regarded as maybe the underdogs of the Europa League final. They won. Crystal Palace in the FA Cup, Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. So we're seeing sides that aren't the favourites come through and win games, and that's all the belief Sunderland will need. They're not the favourites. They're not expected to come away with a win today. But why give them any less chance? Because both teams have equal opportunity and equal chance to get through. And it's all about who turns up on the day. It's not about what you've done in the 48 games prior to this. It's about what you do today and who shows up and who's the better side in the 90 minutes here at Wembley. Because Some teams can come and thrive at Wembley, and some teams can crumble, and it doesn't matter how good you are, it just matters how you deal with the pressure. Ballard, nice chip ball down the right side towards Hume. There's a little bit too much pace on it. It was nicely seen out by Jack Robinson for the goal kick, but that was better from Sunderland. Again, centre back and full back striding down that channel. It was Ballard and Hume this time trying to combine, and it's just a yard or two ahead of Trey Hume. Otherwise, he would have got on the end of that and would have been a threat for Sunderland. In the end, just a goal kick for Sheffield United. 21 minutes gone. Sheffield United 0, Sunderland 0. Of course, there will be a quite an amount of additional time at the end of the first half, of course, due to Luke O'Nine's injury. I think we were stopped for around about 4 or 5 minutes. So there will be a long period of stoppage time at the end of this first half anyway. 100% Misala for the extended World Cup. More teams can qualify. 100%. That makes it more competitive, it makes it more entertaining, and gives more teams that probably wouldn't have got into a smaller World Cup kind of qualification to have that chance. As Patterson called into action again, but the offside anyway against Tyrese Campbell. It's the second time Tyrese Campbell has been caught offside today. These early moments. Sheffield United and their fans applauding one of their own in the 22nd minute, and 23rd minute of this game, which we massively appreciate and we massively support. It's lovely to see. Ballard. Neil. On the turn is Mayenda. Lovely little spin away from his man, and Mayenda's charging towards the box here. Eliza Mayenda. And he just run out of room, but I think he might have got a touch off a Sheffield United defender there. Again, a great ball in by Neil, and he absolutely spun his man, did Mayenda, bursting down that right channel, just on the inside, and in the end it had to be defended, and it will be a Sunderland corner. It was much better. Very good direct run in there from Mayenda. And he's got Sunderland another corner here. So Hume over to take it on the right hand side. Waiting on the moment, Trey Hume. Players try and cause a little bit of a confusion. Short corner taken. Hume delivers in again. It's cleared away well in the box by Sheffield United, and there might be a break on here for Hammer. He's bursting away through. Gus Hammer. Surrounded by 3, but he squeezed it through, and here's a chance. He's chipped the keeper, and Sheffield United take the lead. It's Tyrese Campbell. A cracking counter-attack from Sheffield United from the Sunderland corner into the Sunderland goal, and Sheffield United take the lead. Their top scorer, Tyrese Campbell, his 11th league goal of the season, has given Sheffield United first blood in the playoff final. That is blistering counter-attacking. Again, they try the short corner. Sunderland comes back. Hume delivers. It's cleared away, and the first to get on the attack and the afterburner zone is Gus Hammer, charging away, and he's surrounded by 3. You think he's got nowhere to go, but somehow he pokes it through for the on-running Tyrese Campbell, who's free as you like, and he takes the touch, and with his left chips Anthony Patterson superbly, and Sheffield United have the first advantage. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0. Absolute gorgeous counter-attacking football. Chris Wilder celebrates with pure elation, and that end of which Sheffield United fans sit has erupted into joy. And Tyrese Campbell getting them the opener. And it's a day where they want to be heading back to the big time. Well, Campbell scored a big goal to help them on that task. And Sunderland, who were starting to get maybe a little bit of a foothold in the game, have just been sucker punched with a fantastic counter-attacking move. What a start for Sheffield United. This is, of course, their 5th playoff final. Their first since losing 7-6 on penalties to Huddersfield in League One back in May 2012, Sheffield United. But their fans are not thinking about that. They're thinking about the Premier League. And the celebration already starting. They're only 1-0 up, and there's still a long, long way to go. Ballard out wide to Hume. Hume going for the early cross. The header is over the bar from Eliza Mayenda. Nice cross by Trey Hume. Goes early this time. Decides not to charge to the byline. Whips it in early. And Mayenda picks up a space between Robinson and Ahmed Odzic. And he does well to get on the end of it. But he just can't keep the header down. And it goes over the bar for a goal kick. Look at that end of Wembley. The end at which Sunderland are attacking. Filled with thousands upon thousands of Blades fans. And they are certainly celebrating that moment. You don't need to ask them twice. Wow. Well, this is, of course, Sunderland's 3rd second-tier playoff final. They lost 1-0 to Swindon in 1989-90 and lost on penalties to Charlton, of course, back in 1997-98 after a 4-all draw in the extra time in the 120 minutes. So it is their first second-tier playoff final of this century for Sunderland. And it shows you how rare these occasions are. 13 years since Sheffield United's last playoff final. Even longer for Sunderland, 27 years. So it's not like it comes round every day, every year for them. Oh, we've just heard some information about Luke O'Nine's injury, which is some promising news. It was a dislocated shoulder issue that has seen his day ended. He was in the treatment room, and the medical staff have been able to put his shoulder back in place, which is good to hear. But that was the reason as to why he couldn't continue. Luke O'Nine, and of course we wish him all the very best in his recovery, and hopefully, for his sake, he can return to full fitness as soon as possible. Here's Mundell down the left-hand side for Sunderland. Blocked off well by Chowdhury. Wanted the foul, Hamza Chowdhury, and given the foul by Chris Kavanagh, the referee. Yeah, it was a good run again by Romain Mundell down that left channel, but as he got to Hamza Chowdhury, shielded him well. And a little tug from Mundell allowed the referee to make a simple decision and call a free kick. Great to have you all with us. Lula says, we'll do it. Still lots of time. Come on, Sonny. Paul says, away the lads. Indeed. Indeed. Long kick by Cooper. Again, that little bit of head tennis before someone brings it down. Nicely brought down by Mepham. And then turned back to Patterson. 30 minutes gone. Sheffield United have the lead. Tyrese Campbell with his 11th league goal of the season has Sheffield United leading in such a huge game. Sunderland maybe a little bit brighter of the two in the last few minutes since that goal, and actually were probably the brighter of the two before the goal as well, getting forward a lot better than they were in the first 20 minutes. But they have a response now. Nice ball out wide to Trey Hume here. Hume with a cut back. It's into the box. It's cut across and blocked from Chris Rigg and cleared away by Sheffield United. That was better again from Sunderland. That space on that right side for Trey Hume to pick up. This time he went to the byline, cut it back to Rigg, who was blocked. And now they have this throw-in, which they've taken quickly. But again, as I say, they look a little bit sharper, Sunderland, in a sense, in the last few minutes. Regis Labrise will be hoping for a good response to going behind, which I can say. Mepham, Hume. Hume back across to Ballard. Now down the left-hand side it comes. Serkin. Inside to Bellingham. Nice reverse ball to Neil, and Neil forward again. Linking it up well. Now he works it down the left-hand side. Serkin to Mundle. And Mundle well blocked off again by Hamza Chowdhury, who gets a rousing applause from the fans of his persuasion in that end of this stadium at the moment, and nicely shielded out. We see this goal again. Massive, massive goal. I mean, you look at in purpose, it's just criminal, the fact that you find yourself from a corner of your own, high up the field, your own attacking corner, to concede seconds later. I mean, it's a masterclass in counter-attacking from Sheffield United, and certainly from Gus Hamer. Incredible amount of pace from Gus Hamer to absolutely charge forward. And he looks like he's got nowhere to go. He's surrounded by three, and somehow, I don't know how, he's one, spotted Tyrese Campbell, and two, actually played that ball so perfectly to him. Incredible how the goal comes about. And Hamer's going over to take a corner here for Sheffield United. Jonathan says, first time here, you sound like a professional commentator. Liked and subscribed. Jonathan from Manchester. Thank you very much indeed, Jonathan. Great to have you with us. Thanks for the support. Hamer to deliver. Right-footed. Near post. Cleared away. Follow up his shot. Oh, it's found a way through. What a strike from Harrison Burrows. Sheffield United are 2 up now. If Sunderland are to find a way back, it is going to be some comeback, because Sheffield United have taken firm grip of this playoff final. What an effort from the second phase of the corner. A rocketer from Harrison Burrows. Hamer's delivery, headed away in the 6-yard box by a Sunderland defender, and as it falls down, Harrison Burrows whacks it with his left foot. He's on the edge of the box, no one closing him down, and he hits it. It bounces just on before it gets anywhere near Patterson, who dives, but dives too late. Great hit. Although there is VAR in attendance today, and they are going to check this for a possible offside. Are one of the Sheffield United players impeding Anthony Patterson in an offside position? If that is the case, the goal will be ruled out, which I think it would be, because it looks, it's Vinicius Souza who's here. He's in an offside position, and I think he impedes Anthony Patterson in diving for the ball. As I said, he dives late, but the player in an offside position, I think, causes it, and therefore the referee is going to go and have a look at the screen and going to have a second look at this, which we more often than not know what that's going to mean. Usually an overturning in the original decision. Let's see it again. So the corner comes in, it's headed away, that's not an issue, but as it comes back out, as Harrison Burrows kicks it, Vinicius Souza is in an offside position, and therefore stopping Anthony Patterson going to his left. Sousa kind of shields the ball as it comes towards the box. He shields the goalkeeper away from getting to the ball. And then Patterson justly sees it at the last second, dives, but he dives too late. And it's Vinicius Sousa's shielding and blocking of the keeper's eye line from an offside position that impedes him in diving for the ball and possibly saving the shot, which ended in a goal. So therefore, I think this will be overturned and disallowed, this goal. Kavanagh comes away from the screen, the referee, and the decision will be announced. Decision is no goal offside, just as I said it. So Harrison Burrows' magic moment comes to an end after a VAR review, and Sheffield United's 2-goal lead is back down to 1. I'm sure the Sunderland fans and players are as happy as they can be, and I'm sure very relieved that that isn't 2-0, but they almost could have been out of this. They need to find a way at fighting back now. Completely the correct decision. Completely the correct decision, because Vinicius Sousa, not that he maliciously stands there, not that that's the case at all, but he does in turn stand in an offside position in the line of the goalkeeper, which is an offence. You can't do that. And therefore the goal can't stand, because the goalkeeper wasn't given ample opportunity to see the ball and try and make the save. And it was a player in an offside position that impeded him. If he was onside, there would be no issue, because, I mean, you can stand where you want as long as you're onside, but from that position he's offside, and therefore the goal can't stand. Correct decision. Long ball over the top. Cleared away by Harrison Burrows, who's back to defending, doing what he's best at. Here's Rigg. Has to switch it back inside to Mepham. Well, Sunderland, if they didn't need a response before, they certainly need one now. Here's Mundell down the left-hand side, stepping onto his right foot, lays it off to Bellingham. Bellingham told to shoot by the crowd, decides not to, plays it to Hume. Hume's delivery, little bit of an overhead effort there from Chris Rigg, but he completely miscues it, and the ball bounces towards Michael Cooper in the Sheffield United goal. Hypno says nobody wants Sheffield to win. Paul says Sunderland needs this win. Jorge says whatever happens, Netflix have one more season for the documentary. And just another Andy says parachute payments need to stop. There needs to be a level playing field. Well, that's a big statement. That's a big story, and that's a very big conversation that I don't think I'm certainly not getting into, because that will take us to next season's playoff final if we talk about the parachute payments and the imbalance of finances in English football. That will take us till next season's final to get through all that. So far, Sunderland have had one shot, but have had more possession overall, so they are in the game. Just not getting forward quick enough. And the good enough areas, good goal-scoring areas in a quick enough time, because Sheffield United are just closing it down time and time again. Just over 5 minutes to go of the half. It flew by. Lovely ball out wide to Mundell, but in an offside position. And therefore a free kick to Sheffield United. Gotta say, they've not really, for Sunderland so far, what I've noticed is there's a lot of wing play. There's a lot of play down out each side, each touchline in a sense. There's not much movement in the middle. We've not seen very much of Dan Neil, Joe Bellingham, even Enzo Lefebvre in a sense in the build-up play. They've not seen really much of them. It's a lot of wide players and full-backs involved in the build-up for Sunderland so far. Much of their midfielders. Dynamite says Newcastle fan here. I want Sunderland in the Premier League so we can batter them. Well, that's another storyline. Is Sunderland back in the Premier League? It creates another big derby. The Tyne Wear derby, of course, which we saw in the FA Cup. Was that this season? The FA Cup, Newcastle against Sunderland, which would be something amazing for the Premier League to see back, obviously. That would be another great storyline if Sunderland were to be promoted. But at the moment, they're under real pressure again, because another ball in by Moore this time. And it's just overhit towards Tyrese Campbell, but he was making himself known in the box. Yeah, another ball over the top, and again, it's just not dealt with it well enough by Sunderland. The header by Kiefer Moore laid off the Hammer. Hammer gives it back to Moore, and Moore delivers. I mean, it is quite simple for Sheffield United. Sunderland are not closing down these spaces well enough at the moment. And Sheffield United are having their way with Sunderland, certainly in attacking areas. Well, I said before in the build-up, Sheffield United have failed to earn promotion in any of their last 4 previous finals. No side has ever appeared more without ever winning promotion. Leeds have been in the same number, but no one's ever been in more than 4 finals and never achieved promotion from one of them. And if they lose today, Sheffield United, they would take the sole lead in that stat if they were to lose today. 3 minutes to go with the first half. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0. A half packed full of action so far. First Sheffield United goal, the second goal that was ruled out by VAR for an offside, and then that injury to Luke O'Nien so early. Despite the fact we've only 2.5 minutes of the first 45 to go, we'll surely have a good bit of additional time. Here's Neil. Out wide it goes to Chris Rigg. Beats it through the lines. Mayenda trying to get on the end of it, but again, not able to sustain possession and just gives it away cheaply. Now Sheffield United want to burst it forward. Flick over the top towards Campbell. It just evaded Tyrese Campbell. Not too far away. There is Luke O'Nien, who looks in a much better way on the bench. It's good to see him sitting and able to watch the game. It was regarded as just a dislocated shoulder, which was locked back in place, which is good. We're also keeping an eye on the Scottish Cup final as well today at Hampden Park. Celtic looking for the treble under Brendan Rodgers this season, and they lead heading towards half-time to Celtic by 1-0. An own goal from Alfie Dorrington, the defender for Aberdeen. So Celtic lead by 1-0. En route and on course for the treble are the Hoops. Here comes Mundell again for Sunderland, dribbling through a load of bodies, but too many bodies. A little bit greedy, some would say, in that situation. And now Sheffield United want to spring a counter again. Campbell had the pass on to Kiefer Moore, but decided to go backwards with it, which is a bit confusing. Burrows getting forward, blocked off, picked up by Gus Hammer on the return. Again squeezes the ball through to City Peck. Hammer. No wonder he's Championship Player of the Season, Gus Hammer. Absolute monumental player. Mountainous player in this Sheffield United team. And he's played an intricate and absolute instrumental part in that first Sheffield United goal. Paul says there will be uproar if Sunderland don't get the win. Well, I'm sure it will be painful for them. It will be painful for either side who don't end up getting promotion. Both have been very good in the season. That's the harsh realities of the playoffs. Only one can find a way through. The fourth official has just put up 8 additional minutes for the end of the first half. So I told you there would be a good amount of first half stoppage time. Of course, the VAR check as well for the second goal added to that, along with the stoppage for Luke O'Nien's injury. But 8 minutes to go with the first half here at Wembley. Hebno says more money in the Prem for Sunderland going up than Sheffield United. Sheffield, let's pray that they've had it rigged. you got to say, two very massive fan bases and two areas of England that deserve Premier League football. I mean, Sheffield has not had its fair share, or it's had its fair share, but Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United have never been able to sustain a mainstay in the Premier League. It's certainly the last number of years, and Sunderland have been out of it for 8 years now. Another area of England that deserves Premier League football, but you have to earn it. There's a lot of competition for places for the Premier League, and only 20 teams can find a way through. 19 already confirmed. Who will get the final spot? We'll find out here this afternoon. They will have the 16th of August in their calendars, one of these two sides, as the opening day of the new Premier League season. Here's Mayenda. Good build-up again from Sunderland. Rigg round the corner to Mayenda at the byline. Chips it across, but deflection on the way through. Sunderland corner. Again, a little bit better again from Sunderland. They work it around the edge of the box. They get it out wide to Rigg. Rigg who plays it through. Mayenda comes a little bit wider. And again wins Sunderland the corner. Well, they'll be very wary on this one. The last corner ended up conceding a goal, never mind scoring one. I would hope that the opposite happens this time. Do Sunderland, their third corner of the game. Enzo Lefebvre to take it. Right footed, swung towards the box. Up in the air it went by Brewster. Nicely taken down again by Rigg, who tries to spin it back towards the box. Nicely sprayed out to the left side, but Hume well closed down and cleared away by Sheffield United. Away from danger once again. It seems like, in a sense, Sheffield United have actually played the game that Sunderland played away at Coventry in the playoff semi-final, sitting a little bit deeper, allowing the opposition to have the possession and then hit them on the counter. Not quite one-sided though on that factor. Here's Mundle. Tried the cross, well blocked by Chowdhury, and now a chase on to get the ball back, but Mundle wins it and gets it back to Dan Ballard. That's a little bit better from Sunderland. Nice work down the left. Here's Romain Mundle. Goes for the early cross, and Mayenda was close, but cleared away. Hooked away this time, not convincingly by Sheffield United, but Kiefer Moore helps it along the way, and Harmer trying to feed a counter-attack again. And they're making it work somehow, but Harmer's little flick on was nicely intercepted by Chris Mepham. Once again, for a split second there, it looks like they were just going to skill play their way through. Nice ball towards Mayenda here, who can burst forward, but body checked off the ball by Vinicius Souza. No foul. Very good defending from Vinicius Souza. That's a fine line, excuse me. That's a fine line that not many can find, and that being physical with an opponent but not fouling them, it's a very fine line to find. And of course it depends on the referee as well, but Vinicius Souza got that to perfection there. Here's Hume. Sunderland ending the half with a lot of the possession. Sheffield United maybe just wanting to see it out to half time now and protect what they already have, which is a 1-goal lead. Excuse me. Mepham plays it nicely. Down the left right hand side comes Trey Hume. Hume at the byline, cuts it back across, and Hamza Chowdhury's header clears it away, brought down by Neil. Bellingham, Neil going for the low cross, cleared away. Rigg has the shot, but it bounces off the ground and up into the hands of Michael Cooper in the Sheffield United goal. A little bit better from Sunderland again. They're working it a little bit nicer, but again, the end product still hasn't quite shown itself in the game. Long clearance by Cooper. Flick up in the air by Mepham. And Vinicius Souza wins it. Plays it through towards Brewster. Lost it. And then a real tussle for the ball with Joe Bellingham and Vinicius Souza. And Souza had the last touch as it goes out, so it will be a Sunderland throw. Ballard. Down the left-hand side it goes. Mundell. Trying to feed it through for Lefay. Lefay gets through two bodies. And Ahmedhodzic and Chowdhury and wins the throw-in. Does Enzo Lefay. That was much nicer. Works it back to Sirkin. Now Lefay again. Lefay going for the cross. Well blocked. And Sirkin trying to win it, but Sheffield United have the better of it, and there was an offside flag up anyway against Dennis Sirkin. Around about a minute or so to go with the first half. Sheffield United, excuse me, I don't know what's come over me. The yawning fit that I've had in the last few minutes. But as I say, Sheffield United with just around about a minute to go with the first half will have seemingly go in with the advantage. Regis Lebris will know there's work to do for his side, who've really struggled to kind of test the Sheffield United defence in any real great note so far. There's more work to be done for Sunderland, but they're still in the game, which is crucial. As we have around about 30-40 seconds to go in the half. A little bit of a slip there from the Sunderland defence, but Sheffield United ball nicely retrieved by Trey Hume. Back to Patterson. Ballard. A couple of seconds left of the half. I'll give you another quick stat. Before half-time, Sheffield United have won 5 of their last 7 meetings against Sunderland in all competitions, losing 2 in that occasion, but they've lost their last fixture, which was a 2-1 defeat back in January. As there's the half-time whistle from the referee, Chris Kavanagh. A first half where Regis Lebris' side could have been even further behind than they are at the break. It was an opener from Tyrese Campbell on the counter-attack, beautifully set up by Gus Hamer. And then it was a second phase of a corner when Harrison Burrows found the net, but offside from that, impeding the goalkeeper, therefore ruled out. And as well, a Luke O'Nien injury. It's been a busy first half, but we've got another 45 to come. It's Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0 at the break. We'll analyse that first half when we come back. Welcome back to the Championship Playoff Final live here on LFS. Half-time it is Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0 at the break. Great to have you with us for this one this afternoon. We're only halfway through and we're no closer to finding out who's going to win this, but certainly Sheffield United have been the better side of the two in that first half and deservedly, have a half-time lead. Almost like it was conjuring up a ghost there. But they do have the lead at half-time. Terry Campbell finishing off what was a beautiful counter-attack to open the scoring for Sheffield United. Sunderland could have been 2-0 down in Harrison Burrows' effort found the back of the net, but offside, which impeded the goalkeeper, was why that one was ruled out. Loco 9 had to go off early in the game. That's why we had such so much additional time at the end of the first half, and luckily and thankfully he is okay, and it's good to see that he was able to sit on the bench and able to get involved on the sidelines at Luke 09, which is good to see. Certainly you don't want to see someone in a bad way at any stage of a game and at any point in a game. But overall, what I had to say on that first half is after 53 minutes of football, basically, what I saw was, again, what we probably thought we would see, in the fact that Sheffield United lead, and that Sheffield United looked the more kind of not up for it, but the more kind of experienced side, the side that understand the impact and can kind of deal with the pressure a little bit better than Sunderland. We've seen it even in the first minute or so. Sunderland had to kind of pull off, Anthony Patterson had to pull off a great save, and then kind of that injury that kind of denied them, obviously Luke 09 going off, but denied Sheffield United an early opener within the first few minutes. So they started really sloppily. Sunderland, I think that the injury to Luke 09 gave them that, again, a wobble that they couldn't recover from for the first 10-15 minutes. And just before the goal, I gotta say, they came into the game a little bit more. As soon as we hit past around 20-minute mark, Sunderland started to get more of the ball. They started to grow a little bit more comfortable, and were looking the more likely, certainly more positive anyway, of the two sides. But again, that goal comes from a counter-attack. It comes from a Sunderland corner that ends up bursting on the counter-attack. Absolutely fabulous from Gus Hammer. That incredible counter-attack and pace. The ball, honestly, I can't tell you. 3 players around him. You look like you've got no pass on here. You either have to go yourself, try and win a foul, get your team up the pitch, or just try something crazy. He tried that something crazy. It worked. It was a lovely ball through 3 players in Sunderland colours, finding Terry Campbell, who took the first touch. Left foot chip shot over the goalkeeper. Lovely goal on the counter-attack. And as I say, they could have had 2 when Harrison Burrows' effort rifled into the net from a second phase of a corner. It was Gus Hammer's delivery. It was headed away from the 6-yard box, but it was Burrows on the half volley, takes the shot from the edge of the box, finding the back of the net, but the referee and VAR had to intervene to rule out the goal for offside, as Vinicius Souza impeded the goalkeeper from an offside position in the build-up to the goal. Therefore, the goal did not stand. Which has us where we are at the minute, Sheffield United leading by a goal to 0. And I'd say, overall, despite Sunderland having more of the ball, again, I've said this so many times. If you're watching the channel a multiple amount of times, you will know this phrase because I say it all the time. You can have the ball as much as you want, but if you don't do the right things with it and you don't do something with it, there's no point in having it. Sunderland have had 64% of the ball, but they've had 2 shots, 1 on target in the whole of that first half. Now, I take into consideration they had a wobble with a player having been taken off the fields and all of that disruption, and maybe they were coming up against a side who were sitting a little bit deeper, a little bit of a low block in a sense from Sheffield United at times, and that hitting them on the counter-attack was certainly where Sheffield United were finding their joy, certainly in the second half of that first half. But I think for Sunderland, they just need to be quicker with it and be more incisive. You know, they're being too predictable at the moment. Sheffield United know where they're going to go, and even when they do find the spaces, it's just not quite working for Sunderland at the moment. So they need to up their level and also kind of be more incisive and do it quicker. If they combine those two, I think they will up their threat and will be more threatening in the second half. I'm not saying they will win the game because of that, but that will certainly give them a helping hand into trying to come back and win this game overall. But again, look, these are games that can be decided upon mad moments, on crazy individual bits of quality. And if it does come down to that Gus Hammer ball from the counter-attack to find Tyrese Campbell and he finishes and wins the game, then it's a moment of brilliance and a moment of pure quality that wins a final. But being honest, as a neutral, I would quite like a few more goals before that's the case. But in the end, whatever happens, happens. But as I say, it could come down to a moment of brilliance. You can have all the possession, all the shots, all the chances you want, but it's about that important stat at the top of your screen there. There. The scoreline. Sheffield United leading by a goal to nil. We'll have the second half on the way in just a moment. A reminder for you then that we have Premier League final day action for you tomorrow. Nottingham Forest take on Chelsea. Sunday 3:30 we're live at 3:30 tomorrow. Kickoff at 4 o'clock in all 10 Premier League games for the final day live. If one of those two, they both could and could not get in the Champions League. That's the way it sets up tomorrow. That's the way a crazy day could be tomorrow in the Premier League. But who knows whether one of them will get it or not. We will find out, and who will get the top 5, we will find out tomorrow. That is the Premier League final day tomorrow. It's Nottingham Forest against Chelsea amongst all the other games. Right, second half at Wembley on the way next. Welcome back to the Championship Playoff Final live here on LFS this afternoon. Sheffield United leading by a goal to nil against Sunderland at Wembley Stadium. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. We're hot-footing it towards 27,000 subscribers. If you can get help us out in that journey, it would be greatly appreciated. And we thank each and every one of you who's joining us here this afternoon for this one. That would be greatly appreciated. If you could get involved and it's great to have the conversations in the chat. Great to have so many of you with us and enjoying this game so far because it is set to be an interesting second half. Certainly for both sides. We will see. Reminder for you, the Scottish Cup final is underway at the moment at Hampden Park. And the only goal of that game, Alfie Dorrington's own goal, has Celtic leading by a goal to nil against Aberdeen as Celtic look to claim a treble under Brendan Rodgers. The League Cup and the League are already in the bag. It's the Scottish Cup that awaits, and we'll see if they can claim that a little later on. Right, we're back underway at Wembley. Sheffield United leading by a goal to nil. Tyrese Campbell's finish has the Blades leading. And they're carving their way through Sunderland at half-time, but they haven't got the job done just yet. They still have work to do if they are to find a way to the Premier League. And that goal for Tyrese Campbell actually is his first goal since late March when he scored a goal in a 3-1 win over Coventry. He had failed to score in any of his previous 9 appearances for Sheffield United. So there you go. And they want to break away again. It was Campbell, but it was Ballard in cover. He was in good space, Dan Ballard. He wasn't under major pressure. Nicely worked by Neil and Bellingham. Lovely little combinations from Sunderland there. Much better. Bellingham sprays it out wide. Here is Mundle on the left-hand side. Good brick here. Mundle through the lines and Sirkin on the underlap. Wins a corner. Positive start to the half as Ahmedhodzic has to put the block in. Another Sunderland corner to start this half then. This will be Sunderland's 4th corner of the game. Sheffield United just the 1. Mundle will tick it. He's got the short option of Chris Mepham. No, it's not Chris Mepham. Enzo Lefebvre, sorry. Here is Lefebvre. Cuts it back. Cross comes in from Rigg, but far too deep. And it had crossed the byline, so goal kick to Sheffield United. Again, trying to be too intricate, I think, there, Sunderland. Instead of keeping it simple. Tried the short one, then they played it off, and then they whipped the ball in eventually, and it ended up going out of play. I mean, just do the simple thing. Cut out the middleman. Just put the ball in the box. That's what you're ultimately going to do. Why do all the pussyfooting around it first? Just get the job done. Look at me. Look at me. As if I know. I know as much as I can now. I'll tell you that much. There's a long kick from Sheffield United. Straight out of play there from Michael Cooper. I gotta say, in a moment where Sunderland seemingly are on top, or certainly the team with a little bit more positivity around their play, I gotta take advantage of it. Capitalise upon it. Ball down the left channel again. Chowdhury under pressure. And Mundle did well to apply the pressure and wins the throw-in for Sunderland. Thrown into Bellingham. Joe Bellingham lays it off to Dan Neil, and now Enzo Lefebvre. And out wide to the right side for Rigg, who tried to lay it off to Trey Hume. But Rigg didn't quite find it to Hume, and that allowed Burrows to retrieve and Ahmedhodzic to clear. But again, the pressure from Sunderland on Jack Robinson there as he cleared the ball. We'll get them a throw-in down this right side, which roars a cheer from the fans of which they attack. Bellingham laid it off to Neil. Neil just slightly under hit now. That's a great challenge. Needed it from Chris Mepham, as there was again that break on for Sheffield United. Here's Sirkin. Down the left for Mundle. The Sunderland fans can feel it. Mundle. Little bobbly ball. Not cleared away convincingly. Back out to Romain Mundle. He'll go himself. But the shot was blocked and deflected behind for a corner. They've certainly come out with more intention, more grit and determination, Sunderland. And in the first 4 minutes of this half, they've arguably put more pressure on Sheffield United than they did in the whole of the first. As I say, they need to capitalise. Corner on the left side. Lefebvre to take it. Lots of bodies in the 6-yard box. Ball delivered in. Punched away by Cooper. As it's recycled. Back with Dan Neil, the Sunderland captain. Swings it out to the left side for Lefebvre. Body still in the box. Lefebvre to deliver again. Back post. Away it goes by Kiefer Moore this time. Back defending. And Harmer trying to intricate A counter-attack. But again, that one from Harrison Burrows was a little bit wayward. And Sunderland trying to capitalise. The ball headed out by Robinson. And another Sunderland throw. They're just a little bit more pacey about it. Said that's what they need to be. A bit more incisive. And they need to do it quicker. So far in the first 5 minutes of this half, they've certainly embodied that, Sunderland. Neil. Out wide to Mundle. Mundle up against Brewster. Steps inside. Mundle still going. Mundle, I don't know whether he knew he was never going to have the shot on target, but he had the shot. And it found the Sunderland fans in the stands. I'll just say that much. I'll just say that much. But Regis Lebris, whatever he said to his side at half-time, seemingly has worked, because they've come out with some fight in this second half. Sheffield United just look a little bit more under pressure now. A little bit more nervy with their passing in a slight bit. Here's Robinson. He will restore the calm surely with his experience. Back to Cooper. And now to Jack Robinson. He will hook it forward. And Kiefer Moore there trying to put off Trey Hume, but in the end it's actually a Sunderland throw as Robinson's clearance goes out of play. Sirkin. Back to Ballard. Sunderland, team on top at the moment, but still trail on the scoreline. Chip ball forward by Mepham. Robinson to intercept, but a second ball won by Hume and played first time inside. Sirkin, space to find Mundle. Look at the space here for Romain Mundle. He goes for the early cross again. It's the deflection. It's Bellingham. Can't get the shot off. It's Neil out wide now. Hume through the lines. Rigg on the turn. And Lefay couldn't squeeze through and cleared away once again by Sheffield United. But so much more incisive from Sunderland. They still need to watch the break and look at the break here. It's a 2-on-1. And maybe a 2-on-2. This is another chance for Sheffield United. It's Kiefer Moore. Shot charged down. It's now Ryan Brewster who wasn't given the chance to shoot. And now Sunderland want to burst away themselves. Flicked forward. Mayenda the target. Nicely defended by Jack Robinson, who steps inside. The game's gone a little bit end to end. It's kind of what we expected from the first half, but certainly much more entertaining in the start of this second half. Both sides not able to hold on to the ball for major amounts of time and looking a little bit more balanced. Sirkin. You've got to say, Sheffield United certainly continuing with that counter-attacking approach. That's where they feel they can threaten and cause Sunderland problems. They've already done it. And scoring that opening goal via a counter-attack. And they feel that's the most probable route to success for Chris Wilder and his side. Sirkin. Bellingham. Had to take a few extra touches on the ball there, Bellingham, as Neil finds it out wide to Trey Hume. Hume going for the early ball in again. A bit too high as Chowdhury half clears it. Does just enough to get it towards Brewster. He's under pressure from Sirkin and Mundle, but Brewster does well linking up with Chowdhury again and almost beaten off the ball and was caught there, Ryan Brewster. A free kick to Sheffield United. Yeah, nice work again from Sunderland, more incisive, but good work from Ryan Brewster initially in the end to win the free kick and do just enough, because that's what you have to say overall. You know, Sheffield United might have been the favourites in all of this, but you're not expected to play 90 minutes and not come under pressure against any side in a final. And I'm sure Chris Wilder would have told his side that the second half will not be plain sailing. The side will have to suffer some harsh moments and some difficult moments We've got to fight through it and come out the other end as victors. That's the test of a top side. And so far, Sheffield United kind of deflecting and defending everything Sunderland have thrown at them in the first 10 minutes of this half. But again, as I say, it is massively more promising for Sunderland at the start of this half. Ballard charging forward, getting that ball out to Mundell quickly again, and it's Sirkin on the overlap this time. It's Sirkin, gets it from Mundell, and Mundell giving that ball to Sirkin, and it was blocked by Hamza Chowdhury. I think I confused myself there between the two players. Said their names that many times. Throw-in was taken by Sunderland. Bellingham back across to Mepham, and now Ballard. Inside the Sheffield United half. Sunderland in the ascendancy. Well, their only previous playoff meeting between these two, as I said, came in the 97-98 semi-finals. Sunderland won 3-2 on aggregate. They won 2-1 away, or lost 2-1 away from home, and won 2-0 at home. But they lost the final, of course, to Charlton in that penalty shootout. And their record at Wembley hasn't been too bad as of recently. They've won their last two games at Wembley, have Sunderland. 1-0 against Tranmere in the 2021 Avil Trophy final, and the 2-0 win over Wycombe in the League One playoff final back in 21-22. That was their last two games, which they've won at Wembley. They'd actually gone winless in their previous 7 before those last two games, between 1985 and 2019. 34 years winless at Wembley, but 2 wins in a row. They want to make it a third again as that shot was blocked down. Neil swings it out wide, but gets far too much on it, does the Sunderland captain, towards Romain Mundell, and that goes out of play for a throw. But again, they're just looking so much more bright, so much brighter. It's almost like Regis Labrie said at half time, forget about the pressure, just play with a little bit of freedom. And I know that's not what he would have said, of course not, but it feels like that. They're playing with more freedom, Sunderland. And there's another issue here, because they're going to have to make another change. They are going to make another change. It's going to see Chris Rigg replaced by Patrick Roberts. So whether that's just a straight swap, and Chris Rigg has a bright future, no doubt about that. And there will surely be a few suitors for him in the future. Chris Rigg, just 17 years old, has played well so far in this playoff final, but will play no more as Patrick Roberts comes on in his place. That was a late challenge by Rhian Brewster. That's going to see him get a yellow card. It's actually Tyrese Campbell that gets the foul. It looked like it was Brewster that made the challenge. It was Rhian Brewster that made the challenge. It looked like he gave the yellow card to Tyrese Campbell there, the referee, but he did give it to Rhian Brewster. That was very weird. The camera pointed to Tyrese Campbell, but I knew he didn't make the foul. It is Rhian Brewster, by the way, that got the yellow card. No doubt about that. Ball over the top from the free kick, but right into the hands of Michael Cooper in the Sheffield United goal. They try and get it away quickly. Nicely cut away from City Peck there by the Sunderland players. Dennis Sirkin. Will be a Sheffield United throw-in, taken quickly. Well, as I said, Chris Wilder's side will know they will have had periods, will have periods of this game when they won't be the team on top and they won't be all over Sunderland. Especially with the approach they seem to be taking, Sheffield United, and the fact they seem to be a bit more counter-attacking, a little bit more standoffish. Especially now with the lead, it's all pressure on Sunderland to make something happen. Sheffield United have got the lead. They don't really need to do very much now. Got the advantage. They've got the goal they wanted. Could have had more. Brewster with the ball towards the front too, but nicely cut out by Dan Ballard. Neil. Now Bellingham. Out wide it goes to Hume. And now Roberts. Patrick Roberts trying the ball over the top to Mayenda, but nicely cut out by Jack Robinson. And now Sheffield United want a break. Brewster plays it lovely down the right side for City. Peck on the run, who gets the better of Ballard, and Peck, ball reversed towards Campbell. Nicely blocked, and needed to be blocked by Mepham. And Ballard gets back in and clears it out of danger, but that could have been more dangerous. Nicely defended in the end by the two Sunderland centre-backs, but for a mere moment there it looked like Sheffield United were in again. And Tyrese Campbell was in again, and it's good defending overall. As Sheffield United maybe eyeing up a couple of changes in a moment. It's going to see Callum O'Hare and Andre Brooks going to be coming onto the field very shortly, but Jack Robinson's going to try that long throw on this right hand side at the moment. Into the box it comes, up into the hands of Anthony Patterson, who deals with it calmly and coolly. As Joe Bellingham gets it down the left channel to Romain Mundle. Two in his wake in red and white for Mundle. Turns it back for Bellingham to leave it, and Sirkin now. Now Neil. Cross to Mepham. Through the lines it goes. Patrick Roberts with a chip ball towards Bellingham, but too far away in the end, and seen back to Michael Cooper by Rhian Brewster. And Sheffield United maybe, as I say, eyeing up changes. They're going to make that at this moment. They're not. Going to wait a moment or two longer. Hammer, lovely work, linking up with Kiefer Moore. And the number 9 turns back this time, and it comes all the way back to Michael Cooper for Sheffield United. Less than 30 minutes to go. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 0 in the 2025 Championship Playoff Final at Wembley. Tyrese Campbell's goal the difference at the moment. Ooh, Cooper, my goodness. They had some confidence to play that out from the back when Sunderland were on the press there, Sheffield United. They've made it work anyway. Robinson. Forward it goes. Moore with a flick on, but... oh, Mepham with a poor, well under-hit touch. And that's got Sheffield United a bit of room now. Moore turns it back, though, to Peck. And Souza has to give it back to Robinson, who turns it all the way back to Cooper again. Well, that was a unforced error from Chris Mepham there. That little underhit pass just stole the possession away from Sunderland. Nicely won back by Hume, and a little bit of a turn of pace from Patrick Roberts, but not found. It's intercepted again by Sheffield United, and here's Gus Hammer. Rolls it through. Nice little late run from City Peck. Back to Hammer. Hammer trying to find it so intricately through to Kiefer Moore, but overrun it, overhit it, goal kick. And they're going to make those changes now, Sheffield United. So Rhian Brewster is going to be replaced by Andre Brooks. And Callum O'Hare is going to be coming on to replace the man who would be sending Sheffield United to the Premier League, Tyrese Campbell. So Brooks and O'Hare on, replacing Brewster and Campbell for Sheffield United. Tyrese Campbell, 11 league goals this season. He scored his 11th today, having not scored in any of his previous 9 appearances for Sheffield United. But who cares about the little dry spell leading up to it? It's all that matters is what you do on the day. And at the moment, Tyrese Campbell's goal would be sending Sheffield United to the Premier League. That's the way we stand at the moment. And they were 6th ranked for goals this season in the Championship, were Sheffield United. They had 63 league goals. coming into the playoffs. Of course, added another 6 in the semis, so this was their 70th goal in the EFL Championship this season that they've scored today, which is not one of the highest, but it is not a bad return for their numbers. It's actually both sides are quite top form for their defences this season overall. Sheffield United are third for the least goals conceded in the Championship, 36 conceded. That still stands after the 2 playoff semi-finals and so far in this game. For Sunderland, they were fourth for the least goals conceded this season, 44. So they certainly do keep the ball out of their own net and have done all the way throughout the season, both sides. So far, Sunderland haven't been able to do that today. Here's Sirkin trying to find a way through, and that low, hard ball across the 6-yard box. Force Vinicius Souza to put it behind for the corner. It's that type of intricate play that can change this game for Sunderland. This will be their 6th corner of the game. They're certainly getting a fair amount of corners. Need to be more threatening with them if they can help it. If the referee has to check up on 1 or 2 things here before the corner can be taken. Lots of crowded shirts and bodies in that 6-yard area. Ball delivered in. Ballard trying to clear it on the front post. Flicked back in by Roberts, but flicked over the bar. For a split second, it might have caught Michael Cooper napping a little bit, but it just went sailing over onto the roof of the net and behind for a goal kick. And they've responded well in the second half, Sunderland, but they need to respond with a goal. Otherwise, they're going to another season in the Championship. Bellingham challenging for the loose ball. Won it, but then couldn't keep it. And then in came Vinicius Souza, and a yellow card is going to come the way of a Sunderland midfielder. So Bellingham wins it, but he loses the control of it, and then it's Romain Mundal who drags Vinicius Souza back as he wins the ball, and it's Romain Mundal that gets himself a yellow card. Odzic straight in between the lines. Burrows goes back the way to Robinson. Nice city peck, trying to squeeze it through a gap that wasn't there. Nicely intercepted by Bellingham. His body's forward, but he's surrounded by red and white shirts as he turns back to Dennis Sirkin, just to recycle the possession as Ballard swings it out to the right side, and his fellow countryman Trey Hume tried to keep it in, but that was a bit of a panic pass from Dan Ballard that just wasn't necessarily needed to be played in any shape or way. It was a lofted ball towards his fullback, and it wasn't a month. That wasn't staying in for a month of Sundays. I think that's the phrase. It certainly wasn't staying in, and it didn't. And it's a Sheffield United throw. We talk about experience so often in big games and the big finals and how important experience can be. Of course, we said it before the game, none of the starting 11 for Sunderland had any Premier League experience previously. Oh, that's poor defending! A chance! Not taken! My goodness, Sunderland are riding their luck. Because that could have been 2, and it probably should have been 2, and it was Andre Brooks. Oh my goodness, I gotta see a replay because it all happened so fast, but my God, Sunderland were on tenterhooks for a split second there. Here is Patrick Roberts though, trying to get Sunderland up the field. But Roberts, nice ball, nice run. Not brought down, said the referee. No foul. Gotta say, that looked a foul to me, but official didn't see anything wrong with it, as there's a Sheffield United player down at the moment, which is going to cause a stoppage. So we'll see this attack again. It is terribly defended by Dennis Serkin. What's he done there? He's trying to shield the ball back to his keeper, who's about 10 yards behind him. And all he has to do is just touch the ball back to his goalkeeper and he can boot it long. But he tries to shield it, gets side-checked by Andre Brooks, who has the shot, well saved by Anthony Patterson, by the way, and then cleared away. But Dennis Serkin almost cost his team a second goal in this final. My goodness, as Gus Hammer is down receiving treatment, which is an issue. 20 minutes to go. Sheffield United lead, and Gus Hammer, if he does have to leave the field, he'll already played a very important part in this game, setting up the only goal so far. Gus Hammer, the the Championship Player of the Season. Well, we spoke earlier about Sunderland's record at Wembley recently. Sheffield United haven't won any of their last 7 matches at Wembley. Drawn 1, lost 6. Their last win at Wembley, listen to this, was 100 years ago in the 1925 FA Cup final against Cardiff City. My God. That is some record. They haven't won at Wembley in 100 years. That is the end of the day for Gus Hammer, by the way. He has just been replaced by Ben Brereton Diaz, which is a little bit of a blow to Sheffield United. But as I said, he's already played his part, and massively so, Gus Hammer, in setting up that opening goal. And Brereton Diaz on to replace him. And more changes for Sunderland in a moment. Or actually just now they will make those changes. So Tom Watson and Wilson Isidore are going to be coming on for Sunderland. It's actually Sunderland's top scorer, Wilson Isidore, with 10 league goals this season. Or try 12 league goals. I misread my own writing there. He's the club top scorer, Wilson Isidore, so he's coming on along with Tom Watson. So Romain Mundle and Dan Neil are the two being replaced. And Mayenda and Isidore, the two scorers in Sunderland's comeback against Coventry. Could they do it again against another in the playoffs? They're both on the field and both with a want to score goals. They both have a knack for it. Do they have it in the biggest of moments in Sunderland's season to step up and be counted? As that wasn't particularly confident from Dennis Serkin again. Nicely seen out by Andre Brooks, but a throw in to Sunderland will come. Well, if you look at the second half, yes, Sunderland have had looked a little brighter, but again, no shots on target in the second half, which is a massive concern. They just haven't tested Michael Cooper anywhere near enough up to this point. And you got to say, that might just be their downfall today. Just not doing enough in the final third of the pitch to legislate for a goal. And Michael Cooper has a goal kick, but it's now 16 minutes or so of the 90 to go. Sunderland with a bit of pressure, and now they're trying to pressure to keep it at 1-0 because they're under a lot of pressure. There's lots of bodies in the box, and the cut back there was nicely seen out. But Sheffield United want to end this, and they want to end it now. Ball in, Moore lays it off. Brooks chasing it, but chases it backwards. Vinicius Souza, out wide it goes. Fed by Burrows, down the line for Kiefer Moore, who tries to cut back, but that is sent flying by the Sunderland defence. As Hume picks it up. Touched there by Enzo Lefebvre, but intercepted by City Peck. And now, here's a chance. Oh, nicely defended. Nicely defended away by the Sunderland defenders there, and their ball forward just didn't work out. A little bit sloppy again A little bit open from both sides. Hypno says Sunderland should be winning 3-1 now. Realistically, you have to commend Sheffield for that. Paul says Sunderland should have this in the bag now. Well, they're not in a great position, Sunderland. As I say, they haven't had a shot on target in the second half, and when you don't test the opposition goalkeeper, you can have no complaints as to losing the game. That's the simple, long and short of it. That's the simple story. Sheffield United playing their game incredibly well today. That's nice work from Watson, though. They've not given up yet, Sunderland. Here they come, they're on the move. Nice touch. Here's Mayenda! It isn't over yet. And Sunderland have an equalising goal. Their first shot on target of the second half with 15 minutes to go. It's Eliza Mayenda who finds the back of the net. He finds the roof of the net with that shot. Wonderful goal. Who said the game was over? Even Luke O'Nine's over, celebrating with his team. That is a cracking finish by Eliza Mayenda. But again, it's opportunistic from Sunderland. They take the ball, they win it through Watson. Lovely work in between the lines, nice vertical passes, getting it forward quickly. They get the ball to Mayenda, who works off the back of his defender, and he absolutely rifles it into the top of the roof of the net. That is some finish. But what did we say about Sunderland? They need to move it quicker and be more incisive. And that goal absolutely personifies that. They're not dead and buried in the Championship playoff final, because Sunderland have an equaliser, and it's Eliza Mayenda. Steps up in the big moments, and he is the one to be counted. 1-1. That is huge for the Black Cats. Sneaky as they may be sneaking a late comeback here under the Wembley arch. And they're on in again. Oh, Jack Robinson had to step in, and he did. But that will give them absolute mountain of belief now, and the momentum heading into the final 13 minutes of this game. Beautiful goal. But for Sheffield United, there are two huge moments in this second half for them where they could have found the net and deaded this tie completely. They could have went 2-0 up multitude of times in this game, but they kept Sunderland in it, despite Sunderland, as I say, not having a shot on target in the second half up until their goal. But at 1-0, there's always a chance. There's always hope, there's always belief, and there's always a sneaking suspicion that the team 1-0 down can find an equaliser. And it only takes a second to score a goal, and Sunderland have more than seconds to try and find a second goal, because they'll have the momentum, and it's about how Sheffield United react that will be so telling in the final minutes of this game. As Andre Brooks has to do a bit of defending, and he does, and clears it away. As the header won by Ballard, and won again by Dan Ballard, as Bellingham was body checked to the ground. Free kick to Sunderland. Well, what I say about these two records and their records at Wembley, forget about playoffs. Sheffield United's history in the playoffs doesn't back them. Sheffield United's history at Wembley in recent years doesn't back them. Could all that history that weighs so heavy on the Blades be coming back to haunt them again? And could it be at the hands of the mighty Sunderland? Sunderland on the move again here. Bellingham. He will hit one, but he hits it over the bar. Well, you gotta say, what a goal by Eliza Mayenda. Absolutely fabulous finish. But again, I said it at half time. They were slow. And again, at a point in this second half, they got a little bit slower, a little bit lethargic again, Sunderland. But when they moved that ball, they won it back in the midfield, and they moved it quickly into space. And here they come again. Lovely touch brought down by Isidore this time. Isidore wants to hit it, blocked. Wanted a handball given against a Sheffield United player there, but Roberts has won it back fairly on the right side here. Patrick Roberts couldn't quite get the ball in. Kept alive by Enzo Lefebvre, but I think there's going to be a stoppage here for something. Is it the ball? I think there's an issue with the ball. So we're going to have to see a change of equipment. A new ball put onto the pitch and a drop ball for the for Sunderland. Thank you very much for the update, Nathan. We do have a goal in the Scottish Cup final. Shaden Morris has equalised for Aberdeen against Celtic. It is 1-1 there. An equaliser here at Wembley and an equaliser at Hampden Park. They're a few minutes further ahead of us. There are about 5 minutes left of that Scottish Cup final. And at the moment that will be heading for extra time. Here we've still got 9 minutes of normal time to go. And the momentum is with Sunderland, but Sheffield United have been on the counter all day, and here they come again. Brooks, ball whipped in. Oh, it's over the head of everyone. Oh, still not away as Brooks arrived in the box again, and it was cleared as Watson got it away this time. And this is going to be one hell of a shootout to the finish line. Both sides will now give their all to try and win it, but at same balance, you don't want to lose it at such a late stage. That will be at the forefront of everyone's minds. All 22 players will be desperate not to lose this game so late. Deft ball by Trey Hume, and it looked like it was going nowhere, and he kept it in play. Bellingham, and maybe positivity here for Sunderland as Watson chests it, but he just chests it too far in front of himself, and it goes out for the throw-in. That was a nice idea. Really nice idea. And we see that missed chance for Andre Brooks again earlier in the game for Sheffield United against Dennis Serkin, and how big a moment was that. If it had been 2-0 to Sheffield United, they would have believed, but they kept it at 1-0 Sunderland, and they got their equaliser. And now they want to find a winner. Isidore, nice little turn, flicked it down the right hand side to Lefebvre, and Roberts now holding on to it, and Roberts getting the last touch of a Sheffield United player. It will be a Sunderland throw down that far right side. 7 minutes of normal time remain. Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 1 here at Wembley. Ballard spraying it out to the left side. Serkin now left footed, blocked well. That cross by Andre Brooks. Another Sunderland throw. Well, Sunderland lost each of their last five league games of the season in the regular season. The first team ever in AFL history to enter the playoffs with such a record. They already had playoffs sealed before those 5 games, so that's probably their reasoning. As Sheffield United want to break away again, and Andre Brooks, but well dealt with the experience there. Enzo Lefebvre working it, and Dennis Serkin under pressure. And he rolls it back to Dan Ballard at centre back. Reminder for you, if we're level after 90 minutes, extra time and then penalties if necessary to find a winner. It's nice work again, and a little drag back by the Sheffield United man on Patrick Roberts, and that's going to be a yellow card. And see this again, it's Roberts against City Peck, and Peck gets absolutely sent to the floor, and then it's Barrett and Diaz that absolutely tugging back. Patrick Roberts, and it's one of those where you take the yellow card Ben Burton Diaz certainly took one for the team there. 5 minutes or so of the 90 to go. Sunderland with a free kick on the far right side. A chance to deliver towards the box. Right footed, chipped into the box it goes. Cooper is there, punched it, and got it out for the throw-in. That was good goalkeeping from Michael Cooper. Knew he couldn't catch it and just got a punch on it to get it as far away as he could. As Bellingham throws in towards Ballard, who feeds it down the line. Little 1-2 between Sirkin and Watson. Here's Dennis Sirkin in space, and he completely miscued it towards Bellingham. And now maybe a break on for Sheffield United. City Peck had really nowhere to go, and Callum O'Hare had to turn back. Again, full endeavour from Trey Hume there in the challenge. And no foul, said the referee. That is some challenge. Cracker of a challenge, that. All ball. And Ben Burton Diaz ends up on the floor, but that is a fabulous challenge. All foolhardy tackle. And Burton Diaz has come off in pain here. He's in real pain on the floor, right on the touchline. It wasn't a foul by Trey Hume. It was an incredible challenge, but still a little bit sore on that one, Ben Burton Diaz, and is going to receive a bit of treatment. Great to have you all with us this afternoon. It's been really entertaining so far. As it stands, we're on for another 30 minutes at least, unless we can find a late winner here. But look at this goal again from Eliza Mayenda. Absolute rifler. Absolute quality goal. His 9th goal of the season for Eliza Mayenda. Look at the reaction of those Sunderland fans. Regis Labrise celebrating incredibly. That's what it means. That's what it means. As I said, 27 years since Sunderland were in this position in a second-tier playoff final with a chance of being promoted to the top flight. They lost it that day. They certainly don't want to lose it today. Look at the passion from all of those players and the fans as well. Who knows who could win this now, really? You gotta say, who knows? I mean, just throw a dice in the air and see where it lands, basically. There's a famous Sunderland player, Jordan Henderson. Former Sunderland player, of course, proud Sunderland man. Is the former Liverpool captain and former Sunderland player, of course. Is the Englishman. Of course, residing now at Ajax in the Netherlands. He's here watching his boyhood club, hoping that they can find their way to the Premier League again. Andre Brooks. All the way back to Hamza Chowdhury. Sheffield United try and regain some sort of attacking fluidity. Been barely forward. Barely been able to get forward since the equalizer. Certainly been on the back foot in the second half of Sheffield United. You've got to say they had their big moments. They've had their big moments to score a second goal. Not taken, but you'd say overall Sunderland probably the more inventive side in the second half. It was their end product that was lacking. And they certainly didn't lack end product with that equalising goal from Eliza Mayenda. It has them at the moment level. And has us with about a minute of the 90 to go. Edging closer to extra time. Still there could be a chance for a winner as Chowdhury's ball down the line. Brooks had to chase it, did chase it, and forced Daniel Ballard to put it out for a throw-in. As they might be adding up some more changes here in a moment. Chris Wilder's team, they are going to make those changes now. So City Peck is going to be replaced by Tom Davis. Sorry, hold on. It's going to be City Peck and number 20. Who's number 20? Number 20 is Ben Brereton Diaz, who come off the bench. So double change there. Brereton Diaz, who came on, is going off again, along with City Peck. And Tom Cannon and Tom Davies are coming on. Tom Cannon, who is the leading assister of Sheffield United goals this season. 10 league assists he has. And 10 league goals as well. Sorry, he's 10 league goals, not assists. Gus Hamer's their leading assister. Oh, there's a clash of heads here in the box. That's not good. It's one of them. He's only on the field in Tom Cannon. There's another Sheffield United player there. I think it's Ahmed Odzic, it is. That's an issue. Right, 90 minutes are up. 7 minutes of added time here at Wembley this afternoon. It is 1-1. Sheffield United scoring through Tyrese Campbell in the first half. And Eliza Mayenda coming on. And scoring. Or not coming on, scoring for Sunderland to equalise in the second half. And Ahmed Odzic is the one that's come off the worst with that clash of heads with Tom Cannon. So Cannon is okay, but Ahmed Odzic is going to have to receive a little bit of treatment, which has us delayed and probably will delay us well past the 7 minutes of additional time. What more fascinating stats can I throw at you? Sheffield United won both of their semi-final legs, of course, 3-0 against Bristol City. The only previous sides to score 3 or more goals in 3 games of a playoff campaign are Walsall and Barnsley, who did it, of course, unless they score 2 goals in additional time or extra time. That won't be the case. And Callum O'Hare has scored in both playoff semi-finals. He last player to score in both semi-final legs and the final of a championship playoff campaign was Bobby Zamora for West Ham back in 2004, 2005. There you go. As Anil Ahmedhodzic gets a bit of treatment for the moment. Seasetters, thank you very much indeed. As Reese as well, great to have you all with us. Fish and Stevie, love that. Says in between both games, of course, the Scottish Cup final is underway at the moment. They're in added time as well. Aberdeen and Celtic 1-1 in that one, and they have 7 added minutes. They've played almost all 7 of them, so it looks like they're heading to extra time there at Hampden Park. Not just confirmed yet, but they are mere seconds away from going to extra time. So 1-1 in that one. 1-1 here, and they are going to extra time at Hampden Park. So 1-1 between Aberdeen and Celtic. We'll keep you up to date with that one. So far, remains 1-1 here. We have 7 added minutes. Of course, we've into the 4th minute of that, but we'll probably play more than that now due to the stoppage that we've had due to Ahmedhodzic's issue, which I'm glad to tell you is not serious, because Ahmedhodzic is back to his feet and is able to walk to the sidelines here after receiving treatment, so that's good to see for the Sheffield United centre-back, Anil Ahmedhodzic. Massive player for Sheffield United this season. 30 seconds, he will have to at least 30 seconds off the field as per the rules. So Sheffield United down to 10 for at least another 30 seconds, but they do get the drop ball here, and they'll try and hold on to the ball for the vast majority of that so they can counteract the extra man for Sunderland as Michael Cooper sends long. Ballard won the first header, bouncing ball nicely taken down by Tom Davies, but he couldn't find a teammate. It's got a bit loose again. Bellingham in a crowded area lays it off to Trey Hume. Now down the right comes Patrick Roberts. Space and bodies forward here for Sunderland. Roberts runs into Callum O'Hare. Oh, but the loose back pass is given a bit of space. Here's Tom Watson. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. I thought he'd hit it wide, but he's hit it into the back of the net. And the Sunderland comeback is most certainly complete. When they looked down and out with 15 minutes to go, you thought Sheffield United were heading back to the big time. But Sunderland never gave up. Eliza Mayenda's equaliser, followed by Tom Watson in additional time. A terrible back pass opened up the space, opened up an acre of space for Tom Watson. What a super sub he has become. Started the move for the equaliser, ended the move for what could be the winner. That is some finish from such a distance out, over 20 or so yards. It's a terrible back pass by Kiefer Moore to no one in red and white. It's Watson who reacts first, and a very, 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 very good finish. Say it as many times as you like, it'll never compensate. What a finish with his right foot, bottom right corner. It looked like he dragged it wide. A delayed reaction because of how precisely it was into the corner. It didn't look real. But what a goal. And what a moment this could be for Sunderland. The team that never does it the easy way. The team that always gives their fans heart attacks. And could the hauntings of previous playoff past be back and haunting Sheffield United again? Sheffield United 1, Sunderland 2. What a moment for the Black Cats. Tom Watson, a name that will be written in the history books if they get this over the line. There's many's a substitute happening. I've no idea how long we've left. We had 7 added minutes. We had 3 minutes of stoppage in that. We've had a goal. It's up to the referee. We could be going to 100 minutes probably here. So it's not over. But Sheffield United need to get a move on, and quickly. As they're in the process of making changes, both teams. I'll inform you of that in a moment. Sheffield United have made their 6th change of this game. Of course, I think Anel Ahmedhodzic was a concussion substitute, I believe. So Femi Siriki is on. So that's why they've got 6. And Sunderland have just made their 5th change of the game, which would mean Sunderland would also get 6 after Sheffield United being allowed 6 due to the concussion sub. And they've made a change as well, so I'll tell you about that in a moment when I have the details, as Sirkin was given a yellow card for a foul. We're well over the 7 added, but we will be going to at least 100, I would guess, due to the stoppage for Ahmedhodzic's issue. It lasted about 2 or 3 minutes, plus the goal that's been scored. Are we on the verge of seeing an incredible comeback in the Championship playoff final? Late moments have been the highlights of playoffs in seasons gone by. Could it be another moment in the additional time that wins it for another big team? And a moment of pure joy as there's an offside flag against Sheffield United there. And Tom Cannon in Sheffield United red and whites. Look at Chris Wilder. What will those fans be thinking? Will they be thinking they will be cursed? It's been 100 years since they tasted success at Wembley. 100 years. Sunderland have won on their last 2 visits to Wembley. They're going to make a hat-trick of it if they can see it out. And what a day it would be for them. What a day for the North East if they can get it over the line. Just to confirm that Ahmedhodzic was substituted as a concussion, and Leo Furhelda was brought on for Eliza Mayenda for Sunderland, so that was their substitution for their 5th, so they still have one available if they want to use it, but I don't think they would. As we're into the 100th minute, 99 and 30 seconds. It's all down to Chris Kavanagh, the referee now. Whenever he blows, I'm sure one side of this stadium will go absolutely bonkers. But when will that come? When will that be? Sheffield United need to hope there's one last chance in this. Long throw down the line. Headed away as far as they can get it from the Sunderland defence. But right back it came and Ballard sent it away again. And it's head tennis between Isidore and Lefay. And Lefay was brought down and he's going to get a free kick. And Enzo Lefay believes, because that could be the free kick that should end this for Sunderland. Jordan Henderson watches on from the stands with a smile on his face. This will surely be a decade's worth of relief whenever it comes. This free kick to be taken. It's taken short. They're not going to rush it. They're not going to force it. They're going to try and go to the corner flag, of which they have the chance to. They get the ball into the box, but it's no one in Sunderland colours there to get it, and it will be a throw into Sheffield United. Is there one last chance? We're into the 102nd minute. How long is left? Surely there's not much left. Surely there can't be. Is there one last chance? It's headed away again by Sunderland. Oh, a missed kick by Lefay, but he's got it. And Roberts now breaks away, but he's dispossessed. O'Hare over hits it, and that's gone out for a Sunderland throw. Everybody watching the referee, all of a Sunderland persuasion, hoping he can blow that whistle, hoping he can end years of hurt and years in the doldrums and years outside of the top flight. Sheffield United wanted to do it at the first time of asking, but will Tom Watson's goal deny them that and give Sunderland their moment in the sunshine? It has! The final whistle goes! 8 years of pain and hurt and 2 relegations back to back for Sunderland is over. They're back in the top flight. Sunderland through Regis Labrise. They spent more time in the top 6 than any other in the Championship this season, and that incredible consistency and hard work pays off, because Sunderland are promoted back to the Premier League. For the first time since 2017, the Stadium of Light will be a Premier League venue again. They will fly that flag with pride. And those 11 players and many more in Sunderland colours today have written their names into history. One of England's biggest institution football clubs is back where it belongs. Back in the big time. It was a comeback of all comebacks for Sunderland, when they hadn't had any much of a shot on target in the second half. Eliza Mayenda rocketed into the roof of the net, and Tom Watson, his goal couldn't be any contrary. It couldn't be any more opposite than Mayenda's goal. It was the most sumptuous finish into the most accurate area of the net in additional time. Incredible moment for Sunderland. A comeback in additional time from a young player to seal it, and a day that the North East will celebrate for days and weeks to come. Put the 16th of August in your diaries, because that's when Sunderland will be returning back to the top flight in the Premier League. Heartache and pain for Sheffield United, but they've had their chances, they've had their moments. This has been a season filled with teams that have felt so much heartache and pain over the years that finally get their moment in the sun. And Sunderland have added their name to that list. Tottenham, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and now Sunderland, all teams that have been through years of hurt, years of pain, and years of missed chances. Well, no more. This is what football's all about. And Sunderland are back in the Premier League. Back where they belong. Wow. Shell shock for those Sheffield United players, but oh my goodness me. Luke O'Nien, how contrasting the start to the end is for Sunderland. They started under immense pressure. They started losing one of their most experienced defenders in Luke O'Nien. And they ended with one of their youngsters in Tom Watson scoring the winner. 95th minute winner is what seals the Championship playoff final for 2025. Just fantastic. A team that started the day, all of their 11 players in the starting 11 had never had a Premier League experience before. That is what we have on the line. They come up against the side that were relegated from the Premier League last season. They got 90 points this season. But just like last season, the team that finished third in the Championship table is the team that loses the playoff final. They lose it to a team that finished fourth, and a team that deserved it in Sunderland. Eliza Mayenda and Tom Watson, the two goal scorers that will write their names into history. A day in which Sunderland will not forget. A day of the 24th of May 2025, the day Sunderland ended their 8-year wait for a return to the Premier League. It was back-to-back relegations that sent them to League One. They spent 4 seasons in League One. When they got back to the Championship in 21-22, from that League One playoff final win, their target was clear. It was Premier League and nothing else. They almost did it at the first time of asking, but knocked out by Luton in the semi-finals that year, who went on to win the playoffs. And last season wasn't to be, but this season it is to be, and it is their season. It's Sunderland who join Leeds and Burnley in being promoted to the Premier League. They will get their trophy, they will get their medals, they will get their moment at Wembley, of which they duly deserve. Incredible for Sunderland. What a football club, what a team, and what a day for them. As I said, where they belong. You know, when you look at classic Premier League, you think of Sunderland. They ultimately come to your mind. If they don't come to yours, they certainly come to mine. And my goodness, it's nice to see. You know, I say it so often, it's not against any team. I'm a neutral completely today. Whoever won would have deserved it. But something just romantic about football sometimes, and Sunderland and their story have personified that romance. You know, the heartache and pain, as I said, of that double relegation all the way down to League One. And they had to fight all their way back up. And Sunderland are back to the top flight. Look at Luke O'Nien. Look at the sheer elation on his face. A man who means so much to this team, and that team means so much to him. What a job. He done his job in the 48 games prior to this. He had to go off with that dislocated shoulder so early. Whether he's still high off that gas and air from earlier on, or whether it's just sheerly the elation of having this moment, he is on Clyde 9 and amongst his teammates who will also be on Clyde 9. What a moment. What a day. Great to have you all with us to witness this. I'll get some of your comments in now, because we've had a lot of them since the final whistle was blown. I have to go well back. Thanks to everybody for the support on the supporting the commentary today. Helen as well, Fish and Stevie, everybody who's mentioned it, thank you so much. Keely says congratulations, obviously to Sunderland. Yes, top comeback in second half. Sunderland, I'm not even a Sunderland fan, but I'm absolutely buzzing to see them thriving again. They're a massive club, says Zane. Paul says, really great commentary, I'll be back again. Thank you very much, Paul. The other Paul Mason says, come on boys, well done. Sir Yolksalot says, congratulations to Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland for being promoted to the Prem for the 25-26, and my condolences for the relegation to the Championship 26-27. A bit preemptive there at the moment. Newcastle are happy also, I'm sure, says Fish and Stevie. I'm sure that Townwear derby is back in the Premier League. Can't wait to do that next season. Creepy Death says, Pompey fan here. We were playing Sunderland at League One a few years ago. Good to see them in the top flight. Great to have a big club back in the Premier League in the North East, says Bob. And lots of other comments. Luke09 has been through it all with Sunderland, says Creeping Death. Mon the Black Cats. Incredible. Incredible. Thank you very much, everybody, for your support and joining us today for this one. What a big day. A day where a big club, a massive club, an institution of English football, Sunderland, are back in the top flight where they belong. And they're getting that walk up the Wembley steps, the historic walk, up to receive their sheer celebration, their medals, that trophy, and their prize. Wow. What a moment. What a moment. And I have to say, I have been so grateful this season and so privileged to be commentating on so many big games. You know, the FA Cup final, Crystal Palace winning their first ever trophy. You know, that was a magic moment. I mean, Spurs winning the league, or the Europa League the other night. Sunderland back in the Premier League this season. Many people said it earlier, a month or two ago, it's a boring season. It's been boring, it's been boring, it's been boring. Well, sit down and shut up, because it has not been boring. It has been anything but. Just because the big sides aren't winning at all doesn't mean it's boring. That's what makes the complete opposite. The same teams winning everything every single season makes it boring. Seeing new teams, seeing different stories being written, that's what football's all about. And especially when teams have been through it all, I mean through such hardship, that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. And in the end, Sheffield United thought they were there, but they didn't know what was coming. The storm of Sunderland was on its way, and they came through and thrashed all in their way. And they came and they conquered, did Sunderland. Great moment for all of those players, all of that squad, who we will see in the Premier League next season. And as I said, get this date for your diaries, the 16th of August is the official starting date of the 25-26 Premier League season, in which we will see Sunderland amongst the 19 other sides already confirmed. Congratulations to Sunderland. They're going to get their trophy, they're going to get their medals, they're going to have their day of celebration. And look at that man. And massive praise to that man, Regis Labrise. Whatever he said to his players at half-time, it worked. They came out with more incision, with more precision, with more endeavour and more desire to win in the second half. And that they came out and did. And that is a great result for them. A massive moment. Massive. Just before we leave you, a quick update on the Scottish Cup final. It is still Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. They're coming to the end of the first half of extra time in that one, so a second half of extra time on the way. And then possibly penalties to decide whether Celtic get a treble or Aberdeen break that chance of a treble. We will see. That's at Hampden Park. As Sunderland, all their players will stay for the trophy lift, and then we'll leave you. I don't want to leave you too quick, because certainly, I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. And hopefully more days like this to come. I don't even think I got through all my stats. I had a full page of stats on both teams. I don't think I got through them all, but more to use next season. Certainly on the Sunderland side for the Premier League anyway. I mean, it never gets old. You see finals, you see cups every year, but it never gets old seeing the pure emotion on players' faces. And here they come. 09, Labrise, lift it aloft. Sunderland are the winners of the 2025 Championship Playoff Final. And the prize is that trophy and a place in next season's Premier League. Back in the big time where they belong. One of the biggest clubs in England is back amongst the biggest. And they are back where they deserve to be. Congratulations to all of those players, the fans who've had their tough hardships, they've had their horrible times. And they deserve it. Thank you very much, everybody. You've got so many compliments about my commentary. Thank you so much. It means so much. So thank you incredibly. If you could do me a little favour and like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. You don't have to watch every single game, but do all of those and that will be massively appreciated, because we thank each and every one of you for joining us. It really helps the channel out. Thank you all so much. Congratulations to Sunderland. We'll see them in the big time next season in the Premier League in August. For now, thank you very much for watching, and we'll join us tomorrow for this one, the Premier League final day live. Nottingham Forest against Chelsea. Two sides still battling for the Champions League, but who will get there? We'll find out tomorrow. 3:30 we're live, kick off at 4 o'clock. I will bring you right through to the final whistles. Thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations to Sunderland again, and we'll see you again tomorrow and next season, where the Black Cats are back amongst the big teams.